Hey, real estate agents, welcome to the Weekly Closer. I'm your host, Jeff Underwood, along with my co-host, Joey Sampaga. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, Jeff. How are you, man?
Good, good. Hey, we got an interesting show today. We got 3 guests with us in the house, and we're actually going to talk about how Mike Schweikardt over at ProSmart Realty has this person now, right, that's helping the agents, and we're going to get into how she's training these agents and kind of mentoring them to success. So let's get started. We got Mike Schweikardt, broker at ProSmart Realty, Tina Nerland, agent, mentor, and trainer, Mike Vaughn, agent, both of those with ProSmart as well. Welcome back to the house.
Hi.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
Now, Mike's been here. He's a veteran. He's been on here a few times, but and I know you've told everybody watching and listening has probably heard a little bit about your background, but why don't you start, just say how long you've been in the business and what got you into it, and then the other two can do the same.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking about how I met you 15, 20 years ago when you're in the mortgage business. I've been licensed 30 years. I can't believe it. And I started with Realty Executives back in the day. I was there for about 15 years. And I just felt like the culture of real estate was changing. It wasn't the industry that I grew to love. And I felt that I wanted a little bit of a change to bring back what I appreciated. And that's foundation of fundamental real estate, which I believe is relationship based. And so we started ProSmart Realty. And of course, you know, Tony Lee, everybody loves Tony Lee. Tony's always been with me. And ever since then, Mike Vaughn's jumped on board. He's been with us about 10 years. He's a gentleman to my left who I know and love. And Tina's taken on the role of our Mentee Trainer over the last 6 months or so. And she's really jumped in and took control and wrote up the curriculum and took the bull by the horns and hasn't stopped ever since.
Awesome. Awesome. How about you, Tina?
I have been licensed since 2013, and I kind of got into the industry because I was in property management for 15 years with multi-housing. I wanted to do dual property management. So in order to do that, I got my license, but I was inactive till 5 years ago. And I loved selling homes and working with clients ever since. So my story.
All right, cool. Mike?
Yeah, I've known Mike since for about 25 years now. He did real estate with my parents.
You can tell he looks like he's about 25.
I was about to say that. I'm almost 40, believe it or not. And so, you know, I've known Mike since I was a teenager, and 10 years ago, I had moved away and I came back to Arizona and looking for some work, and I connected with Mike and he said, come on board. And so I've been with ProSmart since 2014.
Right on, brother.
But, you know, things happen in life and I procrastinated a little and I didn't get my license as soon as I would have liked. But as of this February, I'm officially a licensed realtor. So.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. So Tina, why don't you start with kind of your position with ProSmart now and kind of what that entails and what things are you doing to help the agents succeed right now?
Sure. So I am the training mentor for ProSmart Realty. I've been doing it for the past 6 months, like Mike said. And what I do is I hold in-person or Zoom training once a week. I also offer one-on-one training if an agent needs it. But basically, I teach them the ins and out of what a realtor does on a day-to-day basis. We go over the residential purchase contract line by line. We go over all the addendums because you have to understand the contract and the timelines that are in there, really to be a successful agent. Because again, we're representing these sellers and buyers, and we have to know.
And it's funny, sometimes you see a lot where realtors, you'll receive an offer and they don't even know what they wrote in the offer.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is or this is redundant. What they wrote on page 8 of the contract is already in the boilerplate of the contract. So it's like, why would you rewrite? If you know the contract, you wouldn't have to rewrite it on page 8.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's really nice that you go line by line with these realtors.
We do. And even once we read a section, we actually talk about what it was that we just read, because you can read something over and over, but you may not quite understand what it means. So we do that. And I think that it's been really successful what I've done in the past 6 months, because agents that have been with other brokerages that have come over to ProSmart, this is what they've needed. A lot of new agents are just thrown into the deep end and they're just forced to learn how to swim, where what we're doing, what Mike has allowed me to do is we are training them and we're giving them the knowledge to go out and be a successful, confident agent. And that's what a lot of the mentees that I work with have needed. And some of them have been agents for 4 years.
Yeah. They just some of them just don't know the tools that the industry offers. And I think Tina kind of encompasses all that and brings it together and hits them in the face with it. And then they realize, hey, I can go out and do this. And then they go out and do this. And all of a sudden they got a little pipeline going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely important to know the contract inside and out for sure. And how to write those and negotiate that. Are you also helping with them find business? Like what types of ideas or what types of things are you teaching them to actually get the business too? Yeah.
So ProSmart has this program, Blueprint Your Machine. Thank you. And it talks about ways for them to create their sphere, add to their sphere of people. There's a list of 100 plus different industries, like an accountant, an attorney, that kind of stuff, where you can actually go, oh, I do know that person. I can put them in my sphere of people. And then it's not so much that we go out and we give them leads, but we tell them, don't.
It's easier to fish.
Yeah.
It's easier to teach them how to fish than to just simply give them the fish.
Yeah. So we do give them the tools to go out and add to their sphere, but it's.
And what she's talking about is if like you'll sit across from a realtor sometime and they're like, I don't know but 20 people, but if you look at the list that Tina's talking about, like, oh, I do know a chiropractor. I know 3 chiropractors. And before you know it, you've got a full list of people that you can now touch that already know and love you. And sometimes we just need a little nudge because we might not see the forest for the trees. It could be hitting us right in the face. But if you just don't know what to do or who to reach out to or how to reach out to them, you fumble and you stumble. And a lot of people come in this industry and they join ProSmart and they're kind of deflated because, like what Tina said, they'll be at a different brokerage and they just don't get going. They feel lost. And then they come over and they'll meet Mike Vaughn and that's the reason I asked Mike and Tina to join me today. Mike does a lot of our back end operations stuff, so he can help out with, like what is he seeing in the industry from a back end point of view? Are you seeing more checks come in? Are you seeing more transactions come in? More closing packages come in? Do agents come into the realtor to the offices as much? And his thumb's kind of on the pulse of all that back end stuff, where Tina's in the forefront of actually, even before they're really in the industry, this is what you've got to do to get in the industry. And then she kind of lays out a plan for them to go out and execute.
Yeah, we just give them the backbone of it, but we can give them all the tools that we can, but they have to still put in the work and they have to go out and hit the pavement and, build those relationships. So
execute. Yeah.
Yes,
really
exactly.
Execute.
Mike is way better at words than I am.
I fake it. That's all. I just fake it.
So how are you, I guess, how are they responding, and what's kind of the biggest challenge you're seeing with agents right now?
I think they're responding very well. We give them ideas of how they can become how they can, utilize their social media to get their name out, how we can, send out postcards and create CRMs where they can really just start, sending all that information out, saying I'm a realtor. They're responding well.
How to touch people.
Good.
Yeah, they're doing the work.
Yeah, I'm curious. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I was just going to ask you, in the transaction, is there a part of the transaction that most realtors, that most agents are kind of fall short on? And then you have to say, for example, the Binzer part or the inspections part. Is there a specific part in the transaction that
for newer agents, I think it's understanding the timelines and how important they are.
Yeah.
Because there are so many that you have to know. And if you don't know them, then you're not doing your client a good service.
And so how do you suggest, or what would you suggest to, let's say, newer agents on how to make sure that the timeline is kept?
Creating a checklist from a buyer and seller and really just rereading it over and over and over. And then again, reading the contract. I've read the contract, I don't know how many times, and I still come to Mike.
Yeah.
I have questions about this, because maybe a mentee will ask me a question. I'm like, that's a great question. I don't know the answer, but I know who does, and that's Mike. So,
there's when I was along those same lines of what I was mentioning earlier, I had a realtor come in my office and he said that he was going to hand out, and these two might have heard this before, but it's the perfect example of what we're talking about with realtors not knowing exactly where to focus their energy. I had a realtor come in my office one time and said he was going to hand out 25 business cards a day. And I thought, that's awfully admirable. It's, I think it's good effort, but instead of, you could just drive down the freeway and throw them out the window and probably get the same result. So I figured, if you had just 2 business cards and you hand them out to certain people at a specific time, I think you'd get a much better response than just randomly handing out 25 business cards. You could be handing out 25 business cards to people that are moving, or they just moved here, and they don't even really need anybody. Or realtors, they'll start farming a subdivision, and this is what Tina really helps them with. They'll start farming a subdivision that's been built 6 months ago. Well, if people move regularly 5 to 7 years, well, you could be farming that subdivision for several years before anybody even really considers moving. So you should choose a subdivision that's maybe about 4 or 5 years old, and people are maybe now starting to think about moving.
Or even start a social media page for that brand new subdivision and work that. Just, don't push social media real estate on that group, but just,
get a community,
create a relationship. Yeah, that's what I do with my subdivision.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Vaughn, I was going to ask,
great.
If you see more realtors coming in, or do you see different realtors coming in the office, or is it the same realtors that you see coming in the office?
I would say I've seen some more over the last 6-7 months, and definitely some new realtors as well. I know Tina started taking over our mentorship program, and she's really taken the bull by the horns. I've seen certainly an uptick in the mentees being at the office, and I think that's really great for the culture in the office. People see that. They come in, they want to be a part. So,
because what we learn in real estate school is not what we need to know when we're out on the field.
You know that, right, Vaughn?
Yeah.
You learn those others.
Yeah.
You don't learn. Yeah.
So, Mike, are you in the mentor training also?
I help any way I can. I had a structure built up that Tina kind of dismantled and reconfigured and put her name all over it, which I love because it shows her, and that's kind of how we are, Vaughn, over there. We, if you go to for example, if you go to our office meetings or events or anything like that, it looks like the United Nations, a little bit of everybody there. So, and I always say that my team, the Tony Lees, Mike Vaughn, Tina, Dale Gizzo, I never say that they work for me. We always talk about working together, and that's how we grow. When the waters rise, we'll all go up together.
That's good. And
that's really the culture that we've got. And so with this mentor program, I'm glad that Tina kind of dismantled it and kind of like made it her own, because then the focus isn't on me. It's spread out a little bit, and she's done a fabulous job with it so far.
Yeah. So Mike Vaughn, what's been your experience? You said February, right? So when you got licensed?
Yeah. Yeah.
So how's this year been so far, or the last few months?
Well, it's been exciting because I feel like I'm a part, because I actually have the real estate license title, but I haven't done any real estate yet. I have to attend Tina's classes. But I sit in the front with Tony Lee, and I see all the checks that come in. And so I get to see how, I'm not boots on the ground, but I get to see how our agents are doing. I help onboard all the agents, get them their business cards, their email, name badge, all that stuff. I'm sort of the jack of all trades, kind of point everyone in the right direction.
Sets up our Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why at the end of, I think it was 2 years ago, we finished the Christmas party, and Vaughn turned to me and said, it was the next day, and he says, this is the happiest day because it's the longest time between now and the next Christmas party.
They are classic Christmas parties. We get some of the best comments on them. People love them, but they're a lot of work to people. They're a lot of work, and that's what I do on the back end, kind of behind the scenes, to make sure everything's operating and protect ProSmart and protect Mike. So
Yeah.
Great job at it.
Thank you.
That sounds like you have an integral part to the whole brokerage there. So that's cool. Tina, are you, I think I asked this as a secondary question, but like what's the biggest challenge right now you see for realtors in today's market? Or what do they think? What are they saying is kind of their biggest challenge or fear?
Well, I think that a lot of agents got their license because they thought it was easy. Because of the past market that we were in the past couple 2-3 years. You know, a lot of people don't understand how much work an agent actually has to do for their clients.
That's right.
And I think the biggest challenge is that, you know, the agents are giving up on themselves before they've even put their foot in the door because it's not easy. And I think that they need to refocus their mindset on what an actual realtor does. It's not easy. You don't just put a house on the market and it sells the next day.
Yeah. Or all your relatives contact you and say, hey, can you list my house?
Yeah.
Help me buy a house.
So I think that's the biggest challenge that I have been hearing is why am I not busy? Why is this, you know, home being on the market for 200 plus days? And we've got such a great team that we will, you know, we'll go to those agents, whether they're a mentee or not, and we'll look at their listing and we'll give our feedback on, you know, ways that they can try to push it and move it. But I would say that's the biggest challenge that I see.
It's nice to hear somebody else say that. It's nice to hear somebody else say that realtors get in this business and they think that it's easy.
Yeah.
Because I think that, and I see that quite a bit, that realtors think they're going to come in and all of a sudden they've got their real estate license. Now, where's my paycheck?
Yeah.
But really that's their hall pass to go and work to try and now drum up the business. That's really when the work begins. So luckily we've got somebody like Tina to assist them and guide them along, and the backbone of Tony Lee and Mike Vaughn.
You had a great line. The path of every agent looking for the path of least resistance.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I came up with this little term that realtors are looking for the most perfect algorithm. So all they have to do is push a button and to make the most amount of money.
It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work that way. I forgot about that. But that's the real. They look for that perfect algorithm. They just push a button and make a ton of money, and it's just not.
Well, someone created Chat GPT. They're trying to.
Well,
yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why it's.
So where do we, each one of you, where do we see the market right now? I mean, what's going on with the market? I guess, Mike, if you want to start with that, but from what I hear, we're back to, you know, nice houses are getting multiple offers again. What are you guys seeing?
It's priced right. You get multiple offers, but we're seeing cancellations on Binzers. So the buyers are out there, but they're being a little bit more picky. And what people might not realize is, in my opinion, in the big picture, this is a healthy market. You know, if you eat steak every day, you don't know what a good meal is. You've got to have the ups and the downs. There's a lot of people like yourself, Jeff, that made a ton of money during the Great Recession. But so even in a down market, people can be profitable. Realtors can be, as long as you're there to help your client and you're there for your client and you assist your client, then even in a down market, a realtor can be successful.
Yeah. Agreed.
How about Tina or Mike Vaughn?
Well, you know, I see it really through the transactions coming in. I'm not out there. I'm not looking deep into the paperwork or the transaction management end of it. But I have certainly seen over the past, I'd say, couple months that, you know, ProSmart's getting a lot more transactions. I've seen a lot more new builds come.
Yeah, more new builds,
I've
right?
seen that.
Land.
Yeah.
And you know what else? That's a good point. The new builds. I've seen new builds renegotiate the existing sales price that they've already had.
Oh,
So if they're under
Yeah.
contract and the property value has gone down so much, the buyers are considering pulling out.
Yep.
And the developers are saying, well, hold on a second. We'll talk to you.
Yeah.
They
Total
negotiate the price.
180 there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, buyers actually consider it, because if the property drops $50,000 and they have $20,000 earnest money,
Yep.
they can back out, lose the $20,000, but save the $50,000 on the price of the house.
That's right. Yeah. Makes sense.
As long as there's no promissory notes that are due. I had that. I had that happen.
Really?
Okay. They had like 170,000 in promissory notes. So needless to say, they did not cancel.
Wow.
Wow.
I've seen, I
I
mean,
remember gosh, wasn't there a time where the builders wouldn't even pay a co-broke?
yep.
Yeah, a year ago.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is just
And there's
absolute
still some out
insanity.
there that aren't paying co-brokes.
Really?
Is there?
In
Mhm.
today's market?
Mhm.
Hmm.
It's more a private builder. It's not like a
Oh,
Oh,
big
yeah.
builder, but yeah, there's some private ones out there that don't.
that's
But
interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
Really?
me as an active agent, I've seen a increase in productivity on my end,
Mhm.
both listing and buyers. I know that the interest rates really driving buyers in their, but they're coming back out. I mean,
Yeah, they are
they're
coming back
realizing that, okay, if I can afford this, then I'll get it and then refinance later.
Mhm.
So, but like Mike said, I mean, we're seeing cancellations on the Binzer. Buyers are being more picky.
Mhm.
I still see sellers thinking that they can get way more for their home than the comp support, but
Yeah.
they're more open to reducing the price if they are overpriced, which is nice.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think we're kind of in a right here is where we're either going to go up or down. It's like I think the next couple months is going to tell us, because I don't know if the Fed's done raising interest rates or not, but I think we're kind of in this middle zone right now, this gray area.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
See where it goes.
Yeah, I think the last time I think everybody's anticipating that they're going to pause and just wait and see what happens for a while. But I know there's some that are thinking that they're going to need to raise them again based on the most recent economic data that came out, that their job's not done yet. So I don't know, we'll see what happens. Of course, the stock market is hoping that they start cutting later this year,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah. Well, one thing
nobody
I
knows.
know is successful agents, no matter what the market is, they're going to be successful.
Right.
And I say that with experience because, I'm on a team and I know that our team is kicking butt, right? So whether it's buyers or sellers, as long as they're staying in front of their people. And, one of the things we're seeing that there are people who live in their houses and they want to sell their house and buy another one, but then their rate is so good that they say, I'm just going to stay here. But then there are a lot of people still moving here, from California, and they're like, oh, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things that if you're doing your prospecting every day and doing what you need to do, you're always going to be busy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well
Right.
said. Well said.
Yeah.
Well,
and
and I think that people are, people always need to, or there's always going to be people that need to buy or sell because, life situations happen.
That's
Right. So there's always going to be somebody that needs it. Yeah. You're going to have your people that are locked in at 3% or under that are probably thinking, I may never leave this house at this point, but there are people that need, based on life situations, they need to buy or sell, period. So
That's right.
You got to be in front of them when they're thinking of buying or selling, so they use you.
yes. And I think that that's another reason why you'll see the difference between successful agents and non-successful agents because of the market, how it was. I think some agents forgot about the fundamentals
Mhm.
and, keeping in front of the people, like Mike said, and reaching out to their clientele and
Your sphere.
your sphere. Yep. Working that sphere always.
The people factor. It's
Yeah.
priceless.
Yeah. And when it's like, I just got a buyer. Someone was, and I spoke to her about 3-4 months ago, or at least the team has, and we kind of just forgot about that. And so we rotated back down to the ones who weren't as interested, and we started talking to them. And this lady who was looking for a house 6 months ago and stopped, now she's looking for a house again. So it's just like, just rotate and call the people, and you'll drum up some business,
Mhm.
right? If you keep
Mhm.
busy.
If
Yeah.
you had a job, and I said this last time, if you had a job for Honeywell or anybody, you'd be there from 9 to 5.
That's right.
We should be working on our real estate business from 9 to 5 at
Exactly.
a minimum.
Yeah.
I work 9 to 9.
9 to 9. Oh, wow.
I work 24/7.
Yeah.
It's a machine. You got-
God works for 4.5 hours.
4.5. That's a good job.
He's hanging out with Tony. That's not work.
No, that's fun.
Oh, man.
But like you always say, it's a machine. You gotta oil it, lubricate it,
Fuel
keep
it.
it running.
Yeah.
absolutely. Before we go to the next segment, how about each of you, if you're talking to an agent that does not have business now, or they're really slow, they're discouraged, what is the one thing you would tell them to go do today?
I would tell them to talk to Tina.
That's a good one.
I'll tell him to talk to
I didn't
Vaughn.
steal your thunder on the way.
Well, no, I probably tell him to talk to broker Mike, because he's really, really great at relationships. I think that's what makes ProSmart. I think it separates us a little bit from some of the other brokerages. You know, the culture here, the family feel. It's really a family first. You can call Mike night or day. You can call Tony night or day. You can call Tina, myself night or day. And it's, just before we left for here, there was a gal who came in and dropped us off muffins.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
I mean,
muffins.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a very small example of kind of how we operate. So I'd say sit down in front of Mike, and you'll love him. You'll love ProSmart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. To drum up business, it's going back through your sphere. Like you were saying, just keep in touch with the people that have been good to you in the past. Cause the best kind of work that we can get is referrals. So
That's right.
just really reach out to the people that you haven't spoken to in a while. That's what I would tell them.
Mhm, mhm.
Post
You
on
don't have
social
to win them over again. They really love you.
Yeah. And just,
Stay in touch with
yeah. I can't talk highly enough about social media. I know that I love and hate it, but it's such a powerful tool. Just reminding people every once in a while that you're an agent,
Mhm.
because we go down the rabbit hole. We just scroll and scroll and scroll, and oh, Mike's an agent. I didn't know that. I'm going to reach out to him. So
Well, that's actually a good point, because I did have someone just reach out to me
Mm-hmm.
like yesterday asking about their house, because when you do list some things, like whether it's market updates or that you just sold a house, not that you're bragging, but you're just reminding people.
yeah,
right?
and it can be something as simple as it just sold or coming soon or
Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
You're not bragging. Joe, you sent me a text that said, ha, 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 I sold a house. No. All right. So anything else you want to share before we move on? Anybody?
no, just
Okay. I know we need to give a big shout out to Sue Reagan and Jeremy Eaton over Security Title for getting you all in here.
Love them.
I know you got to see Sue today, and I think Jeremy is on the beach again somewhere.
Bahamas. Is it Bahamas?
Somewhere.
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
That guy's always on vacation, seems like.
He is.
He's earned it, I guess, right?
We can't go on vacation because
Yeah.
what happens when a realtor goes out of town?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
sleeping when we're gone.
People calling
Still
you
working.
in.
Yeah, my understanding is Jeremy's a hard worker when he's in town, though. So
For sure. Absolutely.
he probably earned every bit of those vacations.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
All right. Big shout out to Security Title and Fidelity National Home Warranty for sponsoring the show. If you haven't tried them yet, make sure to give them a try. Good people.
Mhm.
All right. You guys ready to get in the ring?
Do it.
Here we go. What I'll do is ask something we can just each of you can answer. Okay.
Okay.
How about
Go first, because I don't want to help them out.
Yeah.
Let them answer themselves. But
how about pizza or tacos?
Oh, my.
Pizza.
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 What happened to hamburgers?
I changed it.
That's good.
Why? Did you want a cheeseburger?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
How about favorite vacation destination?
Anywhere that there's a sunny beach
Mhm.
and unlimited food.
San Diego has
San
my heart.
Diego.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm a little
Very,
San
very
Diego.
adventurous.
I know. A 4-hour drive. I can get there,
4 hours. How fast are you driving?
Well, you'd be surprised.
Mike, did you answer?
My favorite place or someplace I'd like to go. I didn't understand.
Either.
I'd like to go to Machu Picchu.
Ah,
My favorite place is probably, it used to be San Diego, but it's gone downhill. So and actually I was in Seattle a couple of years ago and I love Seattle, but you could tell it used to be a beautiful place, but anywhere, like Tina said, there's sand and a beach where you can enjoy the sun, water, and fish
Mm-hmm.
or golf.
Yeah.
Or golf. Yep.
awesome.
Must have golf.
How about your favorite superhero?
Tony Lee.
Oh, there we go.
I was never big into superheroes, but
No, neither.
I had Superman pajamas when I was
So Superman.
yeah, we'll go with that.
Man, there you go.
The cape and everything.
Do you know what underoos are? You probably
I don't.
Wow. So you're not as old as us.
My mom got me underoos when I was 11 years old. I said, how am I going to think of girls with something like that?
Did you have Batman?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think I have a superhero favorite. Mm-mm.
No? You don't
Wonder-
watch any of the Marvel movies or anything? No?
No.
Captain America?
We're real.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, then maybe I should ask this. Apple or Android?
Yeah, stick to the food.
Apple.
Apple or Android?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Apple.
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 Yeah.
I think everybody in that room except Joey.
Yeah. Except me.
We just made Tony Lee switch.
Really?
Yeah.
Still fighting it.
Yeah, he's still.
I'm gonna keep fighting it.
Yeah.
Joey's on Apple Mac. Yeah.
Well, I'm on a Mac, but this is my phone
Oh, so that is nice.
here. It's my mini tablet.
Yeah.
Is he bragging again about his phone?
Yes, that I am bragging about.
It folds.
It does.
Thank you all for being in here. We appreciate the info.
That's
Thanks
good.
for having us.
Sounds like you're doing some great stuff over there at ProSmart for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and helping the agents out, which I think is what agents need. You know, I mean, the last couple of years have been a whirlwind, and I think at this point, agents are just trying to figure out how do I do this again, right? So
Yeah. And before we
it's good that
let
you put that in place.
Jeff, let's how if someone wanted to join the team or wanted to know more about ProSmart, how can they contact you?
Info@bestbrokerageever.com.
That's a good one.
Or you can get Tina Vaughn or myself, just Mike at ProSmart Realty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tina, are you Tina at ProSmart Realty?
Mhm.
M Vaughn, VAUGHN at ProSmart Realty.
He's different.
Well, there's
Well,
already
Mike-
a bit of a competition.
So, Mike, was that first email you said the accurate one?
Yeah, info@bestbrokerageever.com. Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool. That's cool.
I thought you were kidding.
Oh no, we used to have Best Broker too,
It's
but
sore subject.
That's cool. All right. Well, thank you all for being in here again. We truly appreciate it. And until next time, agents, we will see you later.
Adios.
Take care.
All right.
thank you, Joey.